Hi again, Greg Bell, the News Tribune at Lumen Field, which got absolutely shredded by two offenses today. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers and Sam Darnold and the Seahawks until the very end. 38-35, the Buccaneers win. Let's go the most basic, simplest way to put it. When the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, in close games doesn't turn the ball over at the end, the Seahawks win. They beat Arizona the previous week on the last play field goal when Darnold marched them down the field. First game here of the season at Lumen Field. San Francisco leading 17-13. Sam Darnold has the ball knocked out of his hands when Nick Bosa pushed his right tackle Abe Lucas into him with 30-some seconds left in the game. They lose the ball, the fumble in the game, 17-13. Then today, Sam Darnold was brilliant. I mean, I wrote in the third quarter, he was having another gem of a game, a 140-plus passing rating game. He ended up with 341 yards and 4 touchdown passes. 2 of them to tight end A.J. Barner, who suddenly has 8 touchdown catches in 5 games. And Darnold was brilliant until the end. When he held onto the ball a long time, he got hit as he threw, and he threw the ball off the shoulder of a defensive lineman for the Buccaneers and into the arms of the ageless Levante David, the Bucs' longtime linebacker. Interception at the Seahawks 35-yard line. They run the clock out, kick the field goal in the final play, and win 38-35. Seahawks are now 3-2. After the game, Sam Darnold said that was poor quarterback play on the last play. Why? He said that he should have changed the protection before the snap. He said that they had practiced against that very look, and he was excited and said it was very disappointed on the outcome because he was excited when he saw the look. Game on the line with a minute left. The Seahawks trying to drive into position to kick a winning field goal. He sees the look, the Buccaneers front that they had practiced against, but he didn't change the protection. Now, I asked him a follow-up question on whether the one he went with, the protection call he went with, was one they also practiced this week, and he said yes, but that they had an alternative one, and he didn't use the alternative one. He said Torrey Horton, the rookie wide receiver, was wide open on the side. He saw that, and if he had a better protection call before the snap, he would have thrown the ball to Horton for a bigger play. Of course, losing the ball, own end, Seahawks were done. But their defense is not built for the offense to score 35 points and lose. What happened there? Mike Macdonald all day was caught in, do we pressure and bring blitzes to Baker Mayfield to try to affect him throwing, to expose the back end of a secondary that was already shredded by injuries and sustained multiple more today? Often in the middle of the game, he chose not to. At the end of the game, he started blitzing more. Ty Okada got a sack he shared with Uchenna Nwosu, the only hit of the first 30 dropbacks on Mayfield, and you could see during the game he would blitz and he wouldn't blitz, and then sometimes he blitzed Ty Okada, a couple times a safety who had to play because Julian Love was injured, and then he'd drop him into coverage. Nick Mammenwari, the safety, came in and he briefly got hurt. You saw Reek Woolen go out with the concussion. Nehemiah Pritchett came in. Second play, Pritchett was in for Woolen. Mecca Buka, Baker Mayfield targeted Pritchett, the second-year cornerback, basically a third-string cornerback, in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Abuka had 3 catches. The still-to-come high school star, Ohio State star, had 3 catches for 92 yards in the third quarter. The quarter that Mammenwari and Woolen both got injured, and Pritchett had to come into the game. They used Darian Kendrick, who wasn't even on the team in the summer until the end of August when the Rams cut him. They used him as a nickel back at times in a traditional nickel set because Devin Witherspoon wasn't playing. Baker Mayfield went to work. He 375 yards passing, 2 touchdowns late in the game. He became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 375 or more yards with fewer than 5 incompletions in a game. That's how much Mike Macdonald's defense got roasted by Baker Mayfield today by not pressuring him enough. And Macdonald after the game blamed himself for that. He said he didn't have the right schemes. He didn't call the right blitzes. Often the blitzes got blocked. I saw Ty Okada and his safety blitzes 4 or 5 times during the game, getting caught up in the wash up the middle and not affecting the play at all. A couple times Mayfield threw to where Okada came from, which was for completions, a 17-yard gain early in the fourth quarter, for instance, and that highlighted the quandary that Macdonald was in. He said with that team and that offense and that quarterback, Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, you got to kind of pick your poison sometimes, is what Macdonald said when I asked him about whether to blitz or not and how he was caught in the middle there. A lot to work on now because the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to dissect what the Buccaneers did to Mike Macdonald's defense and try to emulate some of it with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville next week. The Seahawks go there to play the surprising Jaguars on Sunday. Team now 3-2 because they lost at home yet again. Macdonald said, yeah, the execution doesn't matter if you're home or away, but this has been a focus of theirs to win at home, and they're not getting it done. All my coverage is at thenewstribune.com, on Twitter X, at GBellSeattle, where my game story and analysis is already up. Heading over to Lumen Field, where I can hear the cheers in the background, where the Mariners almost must win Game 2 against the Tigers in the American League Division Series. Thanks for watching.